You're listening to Peterborough's community radio, Salam Radio. Salam Radio.
This is Shaz and
106.2 FM.
With my co-host,
Kieron Bateman.
How are you, Kieron?
All good, all good. All the better for being here, as ever.
The week always goes quickly. I know we say every week, but every week seems to go quicker and quicker.
I don't have enough hours in the week to get everything done that I want to get done.
Yeah.
Yeah. How are you, though?
Good. Busy. As I was saying to you earlier, yeah, it's just non-stop, all systems go.
It's the best way to be. It's the only way to be.
What's the alternative?
Get bored.
Yeah.
Actually, no, that's like, I've got a day off tomorrow.
Uh-huh.
I say a day off. I mean, it's an admin day, so I've still got stuff to do.
A different type of day.
Different type of day, yeah. But, yeah.
Gotta go on. Keep marching, yeah.
Yeah, keep marching on.
As always, we welcome your interaction and participation. You can do that by calling us on 01733 602 133. You can text on 07411 191 062 or use any of the live streams on Facebook, YouTube, X or Twitch. This week on Wealth Made Simple, we're talking about carrying out a comprehensive financial audit of your business. What does that mean, Kieron?
Well, that's a very good question. I don't know. No, I'm joking. No, the thing is, it's very easy for people to look at the overviews, and this is especially true if you're thinking about starting a business or you're trying to get used to the idea of having a business, and you look at, I've got this much coming in, I've got that much going out. Okay, but when you say you've got that much going out, there's also going to be some invisible bills going out. Stuff where money is being wasted. Stuff that you just don't see as an expense necessarily. And that's what the audit is there to do. It's to catalogue and list everything, no matter how small, that you've got coming in, that you've got going out, so you can make an informed decision. I mean, it's knowledge leverage at the end of the day. We've spent the last couple of episodes going through all the leverages that there are and how to use those leverages, and this is just a further extension of that. Audit your business, know what is leaving your business, know what's coming into your business, because if you know that down to the smallest penny, you know where to cut, you know where to improve, you know where to invest, you know where to make more of what you've got.
Yeah, and it's quite easy, as you've said, to sign up to stuff, because we live in a environment today where you can subscribe to so many different things.
Oh, the
£4,
subscription,
£5, £2, £3. Yeah, it's wonderful if you're selling a service or on that type of program. But we all sign up to stuff, personally and in business. And this can be applied personally as we go through stuff. It also applies to one's personal expenditure. But I was always taught and told, you can't control your turnover as well as you can control your costs.
Yeah, completely agree.
So, because turnover is partly to do with marketing, existing customers, referrals, so on and so forth. Yeah, you have a decent idea of how much is coming in, but most businesses, it fluctuates. It's not the same amount every single day, week or month. But with your costs, you can look at them, see what's going out, and see what needs to be controlled, curbed, managed here to make sure that we are, as you've said, operating profitably and not leaking or wasting money.
Yeah,
and yet so many people are so focused on this turnover, they don't pay as much attention to overhead and costs.
Yeah, and that ends up costing them.
Yeah,
and it can be a huge amount. I mean, if you subscribe to a service and you get the first 6 months free, for example, okay, by the time month 6 rolls around, you've forgotten you subscribed. So that money then starts going out, and you're like, I'll fix that next month. But you're still using it a bit, so you don't cancel it. And then a year later, you're still using a bit of the system that you've subscribed to, and you're paying a subscription for the full suite, for example. If you work in marketing or digital agency and you've got the Adobe suite, for example, The full Adobe suite is around £60 a month as a subscription.
Per person.
Per person, yep. If you're only using it periodically once a week to do some photo editing and maybe edit a video once a month, well, you're probably better off just subscribing to those two products. It'll be cheaper.
Yeah.
But because you've got the bundle suite and that was at half price for the first 6 months,
Becomes a little comfort blanket, comfort zone, doesn't it?
you just keep letting that money go out, keep letting that money go out, keep letting that money go out.
Yeah. And what's interesting is when times get difficult, tough, hard, there's a squeeze, and one has to look at costs. I'd say that's when they realized how much money they've been wasting every single month, because they cut this, and we can live without all of this because we've not used it in the last month, quarter, 6 months, a year, whatever the period may be. So we know we're not going to use it. But in the prior period, which could be months, weeks, months, years, you just keep it there because you can afford to in a roundabout way.
Yeah.
You think you can afford to.
You think you can afford to.
So I found that exercise interesting when I've done that with clients or people who come for help. Okay, let's see what we can take out. There's not much we can take out. Okay, let's go through it.
Let's go through it line by line.
And when you do it, even there, I'm amazed, saying, wow, that much per month over that many years. Okay, that's my problem is not as big as what our money I've wasted. So had I not done that, I wouldn't be here. Well, yes, that's right. But let's move on from here.
Move on from here.
Looking at the past, but let's not repeat this again.
But I think also something else and it's something I came into contact with maybe 6 months to a year ago, and this is more for larger companies with separate departments, but each department has a budget, and that's controlled by the overall finance director and all the rest of that. But because they don't talk to each other and communicate, they are bleeding money left, right, and center. They are hemorrhaging cash because, well, the recruitment budget is separate from the retention budget. So if there's not enough money in the retention budget to give someone, say, someone on £25,000, they want a 10% pay rise because they add value to the company and they can justify it. They've got experience, they add value, stuff. Oh, there's not enough money in the budget for us to give you that. But your recruitment budget is still, £30,000, £50,000 a year. But it's a separate budget. And because those two management don't talk in their budget meetings about their separate budgets, that person gets let go. Then that recruitment budget gets all used up in recruiting, marketing, training, and the lost
subcontractors, freelancers sometimes
freelancers, and then the lost revenue from losing a skilled worker to. So if you can't afford to pay them more, you can't afford to replace them. Is a phrase that I see a lot now, and I don't think that's strictly true, because I do think that, and controversial opinion here, if you're adding value, great, you deserve to be retained and kept and looked after, and that's how it should work. But if you are just doing the bare minimum, I'm sorry, bare minimum is bare minimum. Add value to me, and I will pay you more.
Conversation for a different day, but I see. I hear what you say. So the first thing that we'll we said you should look at is reviewing financial statements.
Yes,
which is basically a fancy word for saying your accounts and simplify it, your profit and loss account, and also your balance sheet and your cash flow statement. But I'd say to really simplify it for people who aren't comfortable with all this stuff here, just look at your income and expenditure, your profit and loss statement.
Yeah.
I think what's important to add here, that a lot of small businesses, not all of them, but a significant percentage amount, when you ask them, how have you done in the last quarter or year, they'll say, oh, my year ends next month or at some point in the near future.
Okay.
I'll find out then. I think,
why don't you know now?
Don't you do it every month and have monthly management accounts, income, expenditures, so you can see what's going on? And if things aren't right, you can fix it next month and the month after, so on and so forth. So when you get to the end of the financial year, you know where you are. Why
You're
would
in
you
a much
wait?
better place.
Yeah,
Why
because
wait?
otherwise, then when they have a shock or a turnover 800,000, for example, and I made £30,000 profit. And last year I turned over 720,000, whatever, and I made 91 profit. So I've done more and I've made less profit. What's going on here? Partly through the expenditure, partly other things aren't quite right, whether they're not buying right, or whether they're not charging enough, so on and so forth, or there's leakages. But so I think what's really important is have monthly management accounts. Either
Yes.
have somebody in the team who can do them, or outsource. It's not a cost. I promise you. Okay, it's an investment because you're going to pick up things there which you wouldn't pick up at the year end, and you're going to fix it, improve it, enhance your performance, and it's well worth it. But people get put off. Oh, my accountant then charge me. For example, let's make up a figure, a random one, because obviously the figure differs on the size of the business and the work needed. £300 extra per month to do management accounts. I'm telling you, it's nothing. Because you're gonna
Yeah.
save and make more than that over 12 months, for
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah,
Guaranteed.
absolutely.
So 300 times 12, 2,600. Your accountant will give you the information. It'll force you itself, okay, to look at the stuff, because I've got it here, I've paid for it. Let's see what's going on here. Sit down, and it's going to add financial discipline into your mindset, and also you're going to find these things.
To put that into context, so I've got one of my friends owns a business, and on his residuals, just on what he does monthly, without new clients, without marketing or anything like that, his income based on return work is about £8,000 a month.
Mm-hmm.
Now, for the first year he was in business, he didn't have an accountant, and he took that in as a sole trader, and then
Good going for the first year.
yeah, he did amazingly well for his first year. And then he went to HMRC and tried to do self-assessment and did it all himself and paid what he would have paid in tax if he were a PAYE employee in that first year. And then we sat down and had a conversation, and he was telling me how he couldn't believe how much he'd paid in tax. I was like, why didn't you get an accountant? And he was like, oh, I don't want to justify spending £300 a month on an accountant. And I was like, you spent more than that in tax, right?
Yeah.
And they could save you that and so much more.
And the additional support and everything else, yeah.
And we had a long conversation about it.
Yeah.
I introduced him to an accountant. They worked, changed his business, completely changed it overnight, just by having someone who knows what they're looking at his accounts and going, you don't need that, you don't need that, you don't need that. We can save money here, but you still need to pay this.
Yeah. And they've got the support and everything else.
Yeah. Literally more than 10 times the amount it cost them, they saved him.
So that just obviously beautifully explains the point that I was trying to make in terms of the support people need. And it's not just about accountants. There are other, obviously, advisors who can help you as well. But in terms of reviewing the accounts, what we're saying is, initially, to keep it simple, look at three things. Overheads, if you have debt servicing, and then your variable costs. So your overheads, generally speaking, are going to be your rents, salaries, insurance, office supplies, the fixed costs that are going out every single month. In that, you can also look at, obviously, gas, power, water, but that's going to be a variable cost. So we'll cover that when we talk about variable cost.
Yep.
Then if you've got loans, credit card payments, late payments, which happen quite often, okay, look at that and see if you can refinance and get cheaper loans, possibly. See if you can come up with a way where you can pay some of it off by saving costs elsewhere, or working a little bit harder, trying to increase your income by a couple £100 per month. And then when that comes in,
just paying
it off. Okay, and then look at the savings that's going to have over the period of the loan. And the same with credit card fees. I mean, I have a habit of making sure that I pay the full amount every single month, because if I don't, I'm going on minimum payments, it's building up, and then if I start missing payments, it's going to go all
It's
crazy.
all going to
So
go horribly wrong.
I always had it like that. It keeps me disciplined, and then obviously you save on the late payment fees because they can add up as well.
Yeah.
Then
I also clear it clear mine every month.
So I think it's a good habit. And then you got variable costs. I know some people might not be in that situation, but if you can be, do it. And then the variable costs, obviously, like we said, overheads, gas, electric power, water, so on and so forth, and other variable costs which change in terms of the number of transactions done. So cost of sales, the more sales you make, obviously, let's say if you're selling widgets, the more widgets you buy, okay, or the more you sell, obviously, the more you're going to buy. So that's a variable cost of working out to make sure that you are getting the best deals possible on all of those things, and regularly looking at this with your vendors to make sure that you are getting the best deal. Because if you're spending, let's say, buying widgets, £200,000 with a particular supplier, now you're spending £400,000, maybe there's a deal they can do that.
Maybe have a conversation with them and say,
you're spending a lot of money.
Shall we call it 350? But
whatever the figure is, but
save me 50 grand, but because I'm buying twice as many.
So and that can be done. So it's not that difficult. And if someone says, I don't want to do that, okay, fine. Just download your monthly bank statements.
Yeah.
Okay. CSV or Excel file, and just go through it line by line. You've got it there.
Yeah, it's
or
not
print it and just go line by line.
It's not complicated to do, but it's one of those things that is so often just overlooked.
Yeah. And then obviously you can just categorize all your expenses like you would have on your accounts on your profit and loss statement in terms of rent, overheads, salaries, stationery, printing, so on and so forth. And let's put different costs there, because sometimes you've got 6 or 7 costs which get lumped together, so you can at least then see where they're going.
Yeah.
Some are very clear. Rent goes in rent, rates goes in rates, but other things sometimes get lumped in with a bigger heading, and that may not always be visible to you, especially if you're not looking at every single transaction yourself and leaving it to your accountant.
Yeah.
They'll put things together just to keep it all nice and tidy. So make sure you can go into those categories to ensure that you can see what all the different costs are. And then we've got 2 good action tips here, Kieron.
Yep. Compare your budget with your actuals. So at the end of the month, take a look at what actually happened. Don't just rely on what you think or what you want to have happened.
So we should have a budget then, should we?
Yeah. But budget's great. I love a good budget.
And there's so many small businesses that don't.
Yeah, there's money in the coffer, goes out on the business card, and the business card then gets declined. Oh, there's no money in the coffer. Okay, we can't do any more.
Partly effort, partly they don't know how, partly it's just the way they've always done it. And yet this is one of the best things I think anybody can do. I used to do this during the Christmas break every single year.
Yes,
because there's time there to do it. So you sit there and okay, let's go through the budget for next year.
I think also there's a lot of people when they're first getting into business, and this is true of new entrepreneurs and new business owners, is they treat the business account the same way they treat their personal account.
Yeah.
And you can't. There's no other way of saying it. You can't.
Mm-hmm.
They are two separate ways of managing finances.
Mm-hmm.
The way I manage my personal finances is very similar to the way I manage my business finances. But that's because that's the way I'm wired. I could comfortably manage my personal finances separately and differently to my business finances, but I'm more disciplined with my business finances. Yeah. So I'm now more disciplined with my...
And I mean, people think looking at budget is about cutting costs. It's not.
It's not.
It's about saying, how can I best utilize the resource that I have?
Yeah.
And the money that I have.
It's resource management,
not... Yeah, exactly. And it's not just about, okay, let's predict or forecast the next 12-month turnover. It's also about costs and saying this is what we're going to allocate to each single area, section, department, okay, type of cost. And then when something new comes up, like we were saying earlier about, okay, let's subscribe to something. Okay, is it allowed for in the budget? No. Okay. Is it really going to add enough value for us to move something around? Okay. Not just, I don't know. Because when a small business owner, I'll just add this. But if you're obviously a bigger business, you've got to justify what comes out for this to come in.
Yeah.
And you got to have that disciplined approach if you want to become like those bigger businesses. I scale up and expand.
Or in the case of some things, is it a case of, Can we? Is it in the budget to afford this? No. Can we afford not to have it because it's going to add that much value?
Yeah.
No. Okay, so we need it. Okay, to get this started before it starts returning value, we need to lose something else temporarily.
That's right, yeah. Or stop it, yeah. And that adds a lot of financial discipline to the process, because you've gone to the effort of having a budget, saying, okay, this doesn't fit, I'm afraid, so either we don't need it, or if we do, let's see how we can make it work, rather than saying sign up, because as a small business owner, that is tempting, and it creates inefficiency, and then you end up having a situation where you've got uncontrolled costs.
Yeah, and they just
leaking.
spiral.
And you're busy. People are busy. They're not going to sit there and look at all this stuff all the time, because they're focused on the next sale, and this, that, the other. If they've got team members, challenges there, supply chain, so on and so forth. So many different things going on. A business owner, entrepreneur, like I said, is busy with other stuff here. And then if they've got to sit down and say, let me look at the costs, well, they've got to make time for that. And I understand, as well as anybody else, you do too, how demanding that can be. But it's important, so you just got to put it in the diary. Simple as that, just like most of the things that are important. And the second bit, Kieron?
Is analyze the trends. You've got to look for the trends in your expense growth and your revenue streams over time. Are some costs increasing faster than others? Are some areas spending more? Investigate why and consider what's causing that, and whether or not you can influence that or change that or do something about it. Some things that will be some things that are business critical, and their subscription goes up every year. So you're making the same money this year as you did last year, but your subscription's gone up by £100 a month. Well, all of a sudden, if that happens over 4 or 5 business critical subscriptions, you're down 6 or 7 grand a year.
Soon adds up.
Soon adds up when you look at it like that.
And if you've got another person or people or a department or a team who are in charge of certain costs, A, give them a budget, and B, then incentivize them to find efficiencies, whether it's cheaper, better, whatever it might be, to ensure that they come below budget.
Yes, but...
And then that incentive should be, there's something in it for them to go the extra mile.
I completely agree with that, but I would also caution anyone who's doing that when someone is in charge of a budget and in charge of staying under budget, make sure that that's not also at the detriment to the rest of your staff. Because I've seen that so many times is, oh, we're not doing this, we're not doing this, we're not doing this. I don't care that it'll help you do you better. It'll help me come in under budget, so I'll hit my bonus. It's like, well, okay, your bonus is all well and good, but you've got your staff to think about. You need to be a conscientious business owner.
And this is why, when you're looking at bonuses, and I've done a lot of work on this with lots of clients, is I say, where possible, have a team bonus as well.
Yes.
And the flip side of that is, people say, well, I work hard every single month, and I'm hitting my numbers. For example, I've got Kieron here, who's not. Because he's not, I'm being penalised. So you've got to set it up in a way where, let's say, 50% is for personal, and 50% is for team. So you say, okay, let's get the whole team, because you say this person isn't performing, so it's all their fault. Get the team to work better together. And that usually addresses that whole thing. You're right, if it's just for one person, they're going to get £200 extra per month for finding some saving. They don't care what they cost, and everybody just thinks, well, we can't cope without this. They've cut it, and they're in charge. So you're right. It's got to be a
holistic
collective
view.
And a holistic approach to that.
Completely.
That
agree.
was a lot, wasn't it, Kieron?
It was. That was a bit deep for starting off.
The first part, because we've got quite a few different parts, by the way. But that's so important, isn't it?
It is.
Then do this for your personal as well.
Yeah,
personal
100%.
Circumstances.
100%. People say that, and you hear it all the time. Oh, look at that! Another rich person telling me that I need to, not have avocado on toast, and I've got to get rid of my Netflix account, and that will save me money, and I can become a millionaire just like that. It's, no. We understand that that's not the case. And I am by no means a millionaire.
Somebody posted quite recently, a friend of yours of mine, about how I'm paraphrasing here. I don't know the exact post, but how, if you can't afford to buy a house, it's your fault, and here's the reasons why, as in how to save money and make it happen. And they were mainly all, not every single, but mainly on the whole, negative comments. You understand, you know what it's like, it's cutting costing, don't do this, don't do that. It's easy for you to say you're obviously
a wealthy individual.
Wealthy, so on and so forth. And I thought, Okay, mate, even if he's wrong, you're missing the point. He's saying it's possible. Why don't you give it a go for? Say, thank you, Mr. or Mrs. X. I've tried that. You said this 3 months ago. I actually went and tried it. I can't quite get there. So, how about you give me a hand?
Yeah.
They'll give you an hour of the time, most likely. At least you made the effort.
Yeah.
Done it, and they help you out. And that hour could be that game-changing start that you need.
Absolutely.
So people, I think we were all too quick to jump on things without saying, okay, let's observe this, and it might not compute or make complete sense, but this person's talking about it. Maybe they can see something I can't. Let's try and implement it and see where we go with that.
And let's acknowledge that someone who has already achieved something.
Hold that thought. We're going to go to a break. So please join us after the break, and we're going to cover that and lots more in terms of controlling your costs in your business and your personal life. See you very shortly.
This is Salam Radio, Peterborough's Muslim community radio. Broadcasting on 106.2 FM and online.
At Master's Pharmacy, we put your health and convenience first. We offer free blood pressure checks and blister-packed medication. With our free same-day prescription delivery service, you can have your medication when you need it. We also offer travel vaccinations, including Hajj and Umrah, along with other services to meet all your pharmacy needs. For more information, contact Master's Pharmacy on 01733 567 208 or visit us at 303 Lincoln Road, PE1 2PH.
Are you a savvy shopper searching for the best food deals? Look no further. Adams Cash and Carry can help you save big. We're not just a food wholesaler for takeaways and restaurants. We also welcome household customers at our warehouse in Westwood, Peterborough. Visit our website and enjoy wholesale prices on everything from drinks to flour, rice to burgers and much more. To shop, go online and collect in store. Visit adamscashandcarry.co.uk today to start your savings spree.
We know you're concerned about heating your home in this cost of living crisis. We are too. Which is why at Peterborough City Council we're doing all we can to help. We can support and advise you on ways to save energy this winter and to insulate your home, one of the best and long-term ways to save on energy bills. Visit our website for ideas and links. Find out more at peterborough.gov.uk.
Where can you get high quality and low prices? Amar Food Store and Halal Meat in Lincoln Road Triangle is the place to go. Pay us a visit and take advantage of our special offers and great range of products on groceries, vegetables, fruits and halal meat. Also send money to Pakistan absolutely free. We have all top brands at special offers, offer free customer parking and provide a free local delivery service. Amar Food Store and Halal Meat, 613B Lincoln Road, Peterborough. Call us on 01733 687 374. High in quality, low in prices.
Satisfy your cravings at Ibrahimi Buffet Restaurant. Enjoy a tantalising variety of Chinese, Italian, Pakistani and comfort food favourites, from starters to desserts. Kids under 5 dine for free, so bring the whole family to our restaurant at 63 Sycamore Avenue. Open every day from 5pm to 10:30pm. Call us on 01733 313131 or book online to reserve your table. Ibrahimi-restaurant.co.uk. Every bite is a delight at Ibrahimi Buffet Restaurant.
Do you own a restaurant or takeaway? Cater Fair is an expert supplier of new and used commercial catering equipment. Visit caterfair.co.uk for quality equipment on sale at the lowest prices, or call us on 01733 310 115 or visit us at 11 Royce Road, Fengate, Peterborough.
Masterminds Tuition Academy is for your high schoolers, your something to provers, your subject strugglers and keen learners, your brave jumpers and fist pumpers. Affordable personalised learning plans are delivered through our centres in schools across Peterborough. But not to worry, we also provide online and home visits with flexible timings. Whether it is maths, English, science or 11+, Masterminds is a must. Find us on all socials and visit our website, mastermindstuitionacademy.com, or call us on 07516 166 003. Masterminds, master the matrix.
You're listening to Peterborough's Community Radio, Salam Radio. Salam Radio.
Rejoined us.
106.2
Welcome
FM.
back. And if you've tuned in, thank you very much for tuning in.
Thank you. We
Listen
appreciate
to
it.
Salam Radio 106.2 FM. I'm your host, Shaz Nawaz, and I have with me in the studio
Kieron Bateman.
this week. We're talking about something very useful to, I say, every single person, whether you have a business or not.
Agreed.
And this exercise that we've talked about in the first half, and we're going to carry on talking about in the second half, is exceptionally important. And wherever you go, if you practice this, you're going to have good financial discipline and hopefully good cash flow. Before we delve into that, as always, we welcome your participation. You can call us on 01733 602 133, text on 07411 191 062, or comment on any of the live streams on Facebook, YouTube, X, or Twitch. This week on Wealth Made Simple, we're going to continue talking about carrying out a comprehensive financial audit of your business, but also applies to you in terms of your personal expenditure. And we've covered what we call a profit and loss account in terms of your expenditure, in terms of fixed and variable, and also debt. And now we're moving on to the second part, which is examining operational efficiency. What does that mean to you, Kieron, before I go into that?
So, because we're talking about the finances of your business, operational efficiency is, are your staff working efficiently? And I don't want to be misquoted or misconstrued here, but if you've got someone sat in an office and they aren't being productive 4 out of the 8 hours they're there, they're costing you money. And that's a leak that you don't need.
What's really interesting, though, is when people think they rely on a particular individual and they leave and they soon find out they didn't really need them.
Yeah.
I've seen that happen way too many times. I know this about every single person, by the way, every time somebody leaves. But they realise, we can't make do without them. Just kind of they're noticing we're going to crash and burn. And they go and they carry on. Well, still working. All fine.
Everything's still fine.
What were they doing?
Yeah. What were they doing?
And so I think you're right in terms of evaluating productivity, having team targets, having that support in place, and having accountability, so that everybody knows where they stand.
Yeah, absolutely. And I am a big believer in not just having basic targets. Yeah. Have a target that you think will be difficult for them to hit. And I'm not saying impossible, but difficult, because you want them to work towards it. You want them to work hard. But also, if they do work hard and they manage to smash that target, have a stretch target. Have a real good reward for hitting a much, much bigger target that you think is meh.
That they've gone out of their way.
They've gone out of their way to do it.
Whatever the circumstance might be, but it's in their remit, so they've done it, And then obviously we can get certain software to track the efficiency and also KPIs. And this isn't just about, is the team doing what they're supposed to? Maybe they're getting so many calls coming in, and those people are taking a lot of time on the phone, for example. Right? And so you say, okay, how can we reduce that time? They're asking the same kind of questions over and over again. So we have some kind of a
FAQ
system online, FAQ, or we can say, look, I can answer that question for you. Let me just email over to you, have a read, and hopefully that should help you, so on and so forth. Or create some videos, as you and I like doing. So it helps you there as well. Or looking at other blockages or hurdles or obstacles that are stopping people, but because they're used to doing it, they just carry on doing it. So you find a better way, and there's usually, more often than not for everything, but there's some piece of software somewhere which can solve part of that problem.
Oh, absolutely, there is. But also with all of this operational efficiency, it's not about going full Big Brother. It's not about micromanaging and sitting on someone's shoulder and going, every 30 seconds, we're watching you. Are you working? Are you working? Are you working? Are you working? Because you'll lose staff hand over fist. It doesn't work. You've got to trust people and give people enough room to work and to grow. But with the efficiency, you can install. This is where your processes become paramount. This is where systemization becomes paramount. Not every Costa worker, not every Starbucks worker, not every McDonald's worker is super efficient. but the whole company, all of those companies, run super efficiently because they have embedded processes,
systematized,
and it's completely systematized
and simplified. The simple systems.
Yeah,
that's something that's very important.
and don't try to overcomplicate things. It won't work because it's not.
Einstein said, "Simplify, don't make things simple."
Yes.
Or something like that.
Yeah. Keep it simple, stupid.
Right, try and simplify as much as you can. So that's about your team members. Then alongside that, do the same for every single department. Whether you're a one-person band, or whether you got a bigger team, you're gonna have some kind of a sales, marketing, operations, finance, so on and so forth function. Okay, let's call them departments, or you can call them functions, and look at those just to make sure that if there are any certain bottlenecks, delays, obstacles, that you can address them.
But also, when you are doing this, and I can't stress this highly enough, find an expert and pay them to do this with you, because you have observational bias.
Yes. It's hard to read the label when you're inside a bottle.
Yes.
You get someone else to say, "Oh, why are you doing this? Why are you doing this? What's going on?" And if they are an expert or done it before, they know how to ask the right questions anyway to help you find stuff and challenge you. And then someone thinks, "You're right. I don't think I should be doing that. Thank you for asking the question." So be open to that challenge. And an example, obviously, here is that if your procurement process is slow, okay, and that could lead to you holding on to inventory and stock for longer than you ought to, and therefore that's costing you money. And the bigger the business will be, the bigger that cost. That's just one particular example which comes to mind. Then also you need to be looking at making sure that the assets that you have, you're best utilizing them, whether it's machinery, software, vehicles, other items that are you're using them in the best way possible in your business, and that also you're buying them in the best way possible.
Yeah.
So should you buy them outright? Should you lease? Should you rent them? So on and so forth.
Well, I mean, by way of an example, I've worked with two companies. They both do exactly the same thing. One company did it with 150 people in their staffing crew, and the other company does it with 15.
Mm-hmm.
So
difference.
yeah, they both do exactly the same thing. The difference is that one company holds a warehouse, and that warehouse holds all of their suppliers' stock before they send it out.
Yeah.
The other company has all the agreements with the same suppliers. The suppliers will fulfill the orders.
Yes.
They will send it out directly.
Drop shipment or whatever it's called, yeah.
But they're two identical businesses in all respects, other than that.
Mm.
The difference in their revenue streams is astronomical.
It's going to be, isn't it? It's going to be, you're right. So it's about finding those smart ways and utilizing them. So 2 tips that you're going to share with us, Kieron, to implement?
Automation, where possible. I'm a big fan of automation.
Are,
I've spoken about this many times. You know, there are so many programs, so many systems, so many things that can be automated. If you can automate it, you should automate it.
Yeah, and it saves all those boring, mundane, laborious tasks as well. And your team will say, "Thank God we don't have to do that every single day now," or how often they do it. You know.
I mean, if you've got, for example, a company that requires you to do photocopying, you've got to scan something in. Okay, cool. Is there a way you can convince your clients to send you photos of what you need to scan?
So we used to have this challenge, as you know, and then people using software like QuickBooks, Xero, so on and so forth, free agent. You just take a photo, scan it, give them a dedicated email address, and it goes to their account.
Yeah.
And people love it.
Yeah.
And they say, "Oh, why do I have to do that?" Well, you're going to save all the invoices. You lose them, you misplace them, so on and so forth. Here, as soon as you get the invoice or receipt, take a photo. Don't need any more, because once it's gone up in the cloud, it's there for as long as you need it.
Exactly that.
So
that's just a very simple version of automation.
People love it. It just saves us so much time. Rather than we used to have someone sat there scanning every single day.
But this is the thing. But as a company, this has saved you a salary.
Yeah.
Because
and nobody was paying for the scanning, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
The client, well, why should I pay for the scanning?
No, exactly.
It becomes a cost that you take on. And say, well, hold on a moment. This is not really part of what we do in any shape, way, form, act, or manner.
Yeah,
Okay?
it's an operational cost that you can afford to lose.
Yeah. So, and it came in when obviously the software started going in the cloud, and previously it was get all the invoices and pick and bash and punch them in, basically.
Yeah.
But
the knock-on advantages of something like that is that everything that's already scanned in and done and sent over to you can get digitally catalogued very quickly.
There's benefits, for
can
both
go
parties,
into lines. It goes into a CSV file. It goes into an Excel file. It already gets organised, sorted. So suddenly,
and storage.
Suddenly, you don't have 7 tons of wasted paper that are only going to end up getting shredded at some point.
Yeah.
In 7 years' time.
Yeah.
You're not going to end up with, copious amounts of, I need to find that thing. Type quick search. Oh, there it is. That's what happened in that month. Quick snapshot. I can see that. It saves everybody time.
A lot of time.
From that one point of automation.
And the second tip?
The second tip is outsource non-core activities. If you don't need it and it's not core to your business, but you need it to run your business, like payroll, for example, you can't have staff without payroll.
IT support, yeah.
IT support, outsource it. Give it to an expert.
Some parts of marketing.
Pay them for it,
and they'll do it for you. Yeah,
and they'll do it.
So you can focus on the important stuff.
Yep.
But that's the second main area done. Third one is if you have a supply chain.
Yep.
Review that.
And review it regularly.
Absolutely. So number one, look at the contracts. People don't read the contracts, don't read the small print. Take the time to do that. If not, take it to a solicitor. It's well worth it because they'll pick out things that you can negotiate. If you don't know when you send a contract, that's it. You're pretty much buggered. And
in my experience, every contract is negotiable.
Yeah.
Every single one, without fail.
Because it's their terms, but there are certain things that that one doesn't quite work for us for whatever reason. Okay,
yeah.
Let's have some form of a negotiation.
And if you don't do that, then little bit of a sad story. Not everything is rainbows and puppy dogs. Someone business owner that I worked with, they didn't get their contracts legally checked. They read them through. It was written in legalese, and the agreement was the previous business owner would pay all the fees up to date, and that them taking over the business, they would take it over at mark zero. So net zero, no debt on the business. A little bit later in the contract, there's a line that says something like, in the event that the previous vendor doesn't pay for this, then new vendors are still liable. Something like that. They've now lost the business because the previous vendor, as soon as the business was legally theirs, stopped paying. Anything that he was supposed to pay, did not pay. They've now lost their business because they didn't get it checked legally.
Have a proper due diligence process in place, yeah.
And I've said this to them, and I'll say it again. It's worth spending the money to get things done 100%, properly.
100%.
Because that hasn't just cost them a couple of thousand, couple of hundred for the audit. It's cost them their business.
And I've got a fair few examples of that when people come to us that haven't had a proper financial due diligence process carried out, and then they've been lumbered with costs, which ends up costing them more than what they paid for the business in the first place.
Yeah,
I think just a simple process of getting a financial DD would have saved you all this. So review those contracts, or get someone who can review them, negotiate for better terms, better pricing, or any other clauses in there that don't work for you. Some you can, some you can't, but at least it's worth trying.
Yeah, it's worth having a look.
And then obviously assess the reliability, cost effectiveness, and the timeliness of your suppliers. If that could be costing you money as well.
And also with the contract negotiation, we're not just talking about when you start a contract and then okay, that contract's now in place, forget about it. Okay, well, what if something changes in your business?
Yeah.
if you've got inventory, if you've got, you're bringing in 200 products of the widgets we were talking about earlier, and now you need 2,000 of them.
Yeah.
Well, you don't want that contract to stay the same because, economies of scale, you're now ordering 10 times the amount. You want a discount.
That's right.
And you're absolutely within your right to negotiate that.
100%. And then with that, have some form of a stock management process and system and software in place
Yes.
to manage it all for you, to make sure that you're efficient. And rather than ticking and bashing and checking stock every single week, month, or how often you do it. Some do it once a year, by the way, and then we'll find out they've got loads of leakage and wastage. Well, if you're going to do it once a year, then that's what's going to happen.
I mean, one of my favourite methodologies for stock rotation is in the last week of the month, I want every item purchased to be purchased as a back order.
Uh-huh.
So I only keep enough stock in the warehouse for what equates to 3 weeks out of the month.
Mm-hmm.
And then I know in that last week, if I still get the same amount going, then I need to increase my stock levels as I increase the sales. But I never end up at the end of the month with stock left over. And I don't think a smarter mind than me will have to be the person that does this, but I don't think it's possible to order the exact amount you need every month. So I choose to order less than I need.
Yeah.
And then place the rest on back order.
Stretch it, yeah.
And stretch it.
There's different ways of it.
Yeah,
you can find something that works for you. So two actionable steps there. One is implement some form of a just-in-time.
Which is exactly what I was just talking about.
And there are many different models out there. But quite a few of them obviously have been introduced and mastered by the Japanese.
Yeah.
Edward Deming was an interesting chap. People should look at in terms of adding efficiency.
Go to your favourite search engine.
Yeah, it has all the answers you need. And then secondly, obviously, with that, if you have stock and inventory, is review your freight and shipping costs, so on and so forth.
Yeah.
And see if you can make that more efficient. Now we're moving on to the fourth one, because you can see I'm keen to get through this one.
Yeah.
This week. We spent 5 weeks on leverage, which is very interesting. A marketing audit, Kieron. You got 3 minutes. Go for it.
3 minutes on marketing?
Yeah.
No, I can't
I know
do
it's
that.
my favourite topic and yours, but...
So if you can't afford to do marketing, then you are spending your money in the wrong place, for a start.
100%.
Marketing is the core. Don't spend money on bean counters, spend money on marketing.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I say that as an accountant, I agree with that, second that as an accountant.
Exactly. So you heard it here first, folks. But with marketing, you can analyze everything that you need to do to make money, from the cost of the customer acquisition, the lifetime spend of your customers, the lifetime length of your customers,
cost of lead, so forth.
Yeah. There is so much there that you can analyze and put into a spreadsheet
and every single different
justify
channel,
and
online,
what's
offline,
working,
so
where are they coming from, the sources of
conversion
clients,
rates,
conversion, all of
you
this.
have a field day, won't you? Really? When I first came, it was a game changer. Really, I still love it.
We could do 3 or 4 episodes just on marketing.
I think we have in the past.
We have. And we will again, because it's a valuable topic that bears returning to. But if you are spending, say, £500 a month on getting physical clients, in-person clients, people that you meet, so you've got a stall at a local shopping centre or something like that, just hypothetically, and so you're spending £500 a month on that, and that's converting into the equivalent of 3 customers.
Yeah.
Right? That's over £150 per customer. Now, those customers that become customers, how much are they spending? What is the life of their custom? Is it £1,500? If it's more than you are spending on them, then spend that every month and increase that expenditure to get more customers. If, on the other hand, those 3 customers are spending 50 quid with you, then you're making £150 for every £500 spent. In my book, that's bad maths. Doesn't work for my business. Now, if I then go online and I'm spending £500 in online marketing and I'm reaching 10,000 people, and that's not an unrealistic figure, And of that 10,000 people, I'm getting 100 customers that are each spending 50 quid. I'm still making $5,000. I'm spending 500 to make 5,000.
It's not a game changer.
Increase the budget there.
Yeah.
But unless you're doing the audit and you're looking at how much the customers cost and how much they're spending.
Yeah. And it's not always easy because...
there are so many variables.
There's certain things it's hard to track exactly, but you got to start somewhere.
Yeah, you've got to start somewhere.
This session isn't, or episode isn't on marketing, so I won't delve into it because otherwise,
we could be here for days.
For a long time. But evaluate, the cost of the marketing, the performance of the marketing, look at the different channels that you use, online, offline, Facebook, Instagram, whatever it might be. Don't go through every single one. But look at those pay-per-click campaigns, direct mail campaigns, referral programs, and see which one is performing how well, and then spend more money in that particular resource and channel.
And also move on from that. So that's just the cost of acquiring a customer.
Then the next stage, yeah.
And then there's the next stage of retaining customers, because a lot of companies focus 80% of their marketing budget on acquiring customers.
And it costs you more to acquire one than it is just to keep the ones that you already have.
And they spend 20% of their budget on retaining customers.
Yeah.
And I personally think that's the wrong way around.
And I've talked about that a lot in the past with people. And we're all guilty of it. I am guilty as charged as well sometimes.
Retain your customers.
But, focus on them. So
Be
two
good to
things is focus on retention over acquisition, as you've said. And number two, use the tools out there which help you analyze the data. So that you can look at everything in precise detail. There's so many different pieces of software out there. It's unbelievable. And many of them do a fantastic job, and which I think people should look at very, very seriously. And do this when you're starting off, by the way, when you're starting out.
Oh, yeah.
Because build this particular habit.
Build it into your business rather than onto your business.
Exactly. Number 5, which I know is your favorite area, so I'm going to allow you to have some more fun today. I'm just being so nice to you.
You're being so nice to me.
Evaluating technology and software utilization.
So these last 2 points that we've just gone over are my favorite 2 points to look at. I'm a little bit of a nerd in this. Marketing is my bread and butter. This is what I love doing. And technology, software utilization. There is so much out there, from simple chatbots through to deep dive data analytics, and giving you a full graph of input here, output here, customer there, cost there, acquisition here, sale there. But because there is so much data coming at you, you need to utilize the right software, the right pieces of kit to translate it into something you can use. Because it's no good me saying to Shaz, the last 10 customers you got cost you £150, and they're each going to be worth £150 each year over the next 10 years.
Yeah.
Okay, what does that mean to you? Okay, you know what it means to you because you're in this sphere, but that's garbage to a lot of people.
Yeah.
Whereas if I say, okay, individually, this software shows us that this customer came from this point where we had spent this amount, and the customer is now worth this amount, and they've been with us for the last 5 years, totaling this amount. Suddenly, you've got all that data extrapolated into something really, really readable and replicatable. And that's kind of the key point with all of this software. And the technology is, I'm human. I make a lot of mistakes.
You all do, yeah.
If I stick something into some software, that software repeats exactly time after time after time. It doesn't make mistakes. The only mistakes in that software are what I put in it.
Yeah, human error. So basically, look at all the different pieces of software you're using and see if you can merge them all together.
Yep. And
the second one is obviously invest in technology that drives productivity and profitability.
Yes.
Now I'm going to attempt to cover the final two very, very quickly. So the number 6 is assessing your admin and overhead costs, which I talked about at the start. Well, we both talked about it in terms of your overall office expenditure, travel, entertainment, food costs, other costs, which we are going to fixed and variable, which we've talked about.
But also, we're also including here the hidden costs of, a client comes in, just nip out and get some coffees for us.
adds up. So look at those costs in detail and think about, do you need an office, or can you work from home, or can you have a shared office? And then implement an expense policy, like using the example that you've said. Then number 7 is about customer service and product returns. So there's many different CRMs out there which can give customers a good service, a consistent service, but also track what's going on, and then look at obviously how much it's costing you to return products. See if there's a problem there, fix it. So there's a lot there to be covered. I've done that very, very quickly, but I'm keen to make sure we get through this week to give people one episode where they can make a start. But there's so much here. I think just starting with your P&L account is a fantastic place to be. Thank you very much for tuning in. Kieron and I hope you very much implement this and come back to us with feedback. If you need support, we're here to help you with this because we know a lot about this. Until next time, take care for now. Bye-bye.